Two dads and a Chaz putting trophies on the wall. Two dads and a Chaz is talking Green Bay Packers football. Not exactly qualified, but answers the call. Two dads and a Chaz talking Green Bay Packers football. We gonna break it all down, probably leave out some facts. We gonna make some statements that we'll likely regret. Mostly gossip and rumors made straight off the top. So crank up the air conditioning, cause it's bound to get hot. Two dads and a Chaz, you know we live it and we live it right. Two dads and a Chaz, we gonna break down football for you tonight. Besides some rings and putting trophies on the wall. Trophies, y'all. Two dads and a Chaz is talking Green Bay Packers football. Yeah, we talking Green Bay Packers football. Ty Guys, starring Tyson Foshay, Tyrell Wendell, with special guest Sammy Foshay, and now your host, Tyson Foshay.
Oh, thank you, everybody. Thanks for coming out. The Two Dads and the Chaz. This is part one of our two-part episode. We recorded this during the bye week. So episode one, which we're about to play, stars my son, Samuel Foshay. And then really Ty was the only one who was able to make it that night. So it's really just him and I talking football. Part two is going to be our traditional breakdown of the Lions game and looking forward to the Bears. But right now, without any further ado, Sammy Foshay's internet debut.
Okay, so AirPods,
This is
yes.
Yeah.
First YouTube video with me in it.
This
Yeah,
is a big
I'm-
moment.
Yep, I'm excited to see myself on YouTube. Please don't edit me out this time. Well, he's the one who edits. I think he promised not to edit me out this time.
I promise nothing.
Bruh. Sup?
Sup, everybody?
Oh, I see the microphone. Now, alright, I'll take your place. Now I'm Tyson Foshay.
Well, so you got to host the whole show now.
Gonna leave him with Ty?
Yeah, just for a second. I gotta go. I'll be right back.
I've done harder interviews.
You know, you're fine.
So, what are your predictions on the next game?
The next game, I think we got a pretty easy opponent, so I'm hoping we win.
Yeah, we hoping.
Yeah,
I
we're
mean-
still hoping.
I mean,
My question,
If you are-
Sam, is: do you think the Packers are good
You-
this year?
of
You th-
course.
You think the Packers are good at football?
We've been on the fun fact, people who are watching. The Packers are the first team on the NFL. So
That is-
technically the Packers have more experience. Can win. Alright. Chaz is joining the meeting.
Okay.
Hey
So the-
hey buddy.
Oh, what's
Alright.
up, dude?
What's up, dude? What's up, dude? Now that we're all
I just didn't want you to be alone here, Ty.
No, we're good.
he kind of is
Yeah,
here.
true.
And the Packers are good at football, and the Bears are not good at football.
Yeah, the Bears.
True.
Yeah, and I like your home cooking. I
Right.
am an
Oh, I'm
apple.
gonna-
And by the
Mm.
way,
Oh no, spiders!
Spider,
Spider attack!
Riz. Those are what the kids say these days. Later, Chess.
Later,
Grandpa
Chaz.
Chaz.
Thanks for
Questions you
dropping
have?
in on our interview.
What are your predictions on the next Packer game?
Against the Bears, I think
Yeah.
the Packers, I believe the Packers will get back on track and will finally put all three phases together and we'll start our journey
Yeah,
to being a consistent football team.
we can win. We're
Yeah.
gonna win because the Packers is the oldest players on the NFL.
Oldest team in the
Oh, your wife is coming.
That's your mom.
Hello.
That's your mom. Hey.
Hi, I'm recording a YouTube video.
Neat.
I'm this time Chaz promised they're not gonna edit me out. So this
He
is my
promised nothing.
It's all about content, baby.
All right. I'll be better. Anyway,
No, you're
Mom.
just getting warmed up. It's just good. It takes practice.
Can you clean the kitchen while I do this?
No.
Oh my God, get out of here.
Who, me?
Say bye.
I cannot believe you just said that. That's making the pod.
Yeah, definitely make the pod. Bye.
Oh,
Bye.
Why I said that, Mom. Bye.
Come on. You
Yeah.
okay?
That's
Yeah, that-
definitely making the pod. Oh my God.
Did you
sorry,
really
man.
just say that?
Did you really just say that? Can you clean the kitchen while I do this podcast?
Oh, I just knew he'd say something great. I just knew
Here,
I
here,
could
here,
just give him a little
take
space.
this, take this.
That's my
Yeah,
what I said. I
yep,
said
and then
that was
Chaz played bouncer and just bounced him out. Like, did
Yeah.
you really just say that? You'll love it.
Trump has only been president-elect for like less than 12 hours. And look at what youth of America
Yeah,
is
look at
saying
what's
to him.
happening.
He just told his mother to get back in the kitchen. He's like, it would have been worse if I would have said where you belong. Right? It's like,
Yeah.
The boy understands comedy.
He has mad riz.
He
as the
does.
kid. Yeah.
He's got charisma. I'll say
Yeah.
that.
Dude's definitely
charisma.
bruh definitely has riz.
Bro.
Sit down and strap in. We're going into the tangent zone. Another 82 minutes of uninterrupted sports talk, football speculation, hot takes, no breaks. Ty guys.
Well, guys, thank you so much for joining us for a impromptu chat between the Ty Squared. That's me, Tyson Foshay, and my good friend Ty Wendell here. The Lions really are like better than I thought.
Right on a note card. Don't panic when the Lions go 8-0. They're the Lions. They're an easy out in the playoffs. And I could fold that card up and put it in my pocket. And then in week 16, take it out and open it up and be like, or after week 8, take it out and be like, yes. I feel like we do this every year with the Lions. Matt Stafford, he's averaging 525 yards a fucking game.
Yeah.
And he just throws 7 touchdowns a game to Calvin Johnson. We all lose our minds, right?
Yeah.
And every year they implode. They go so Lions. It totally feels, to me, way different. What do you think?
This one does,
Different?
I think it feels
Or the same old?
No, this is different. It's not the same old. I wish it was the same old. I want to pretend it's the same old, but it feels more real this time. They are playing controlled football. They didn't even do anything that impressive in that game. They just played controlled. You know, they didn't fuck up. They just didn't make mistakes. They just played controlled. So I'm impressed with their ability to come in with a game plan, stick to it, just weather the storm, literally. The trust in Matt is so high that, like, if he calls a crazy play in a bad situation, they're probably going to run it because they think that's the right call. This game, it didn't look like that was the right call. The Lions' discipline and ability to do their job and still be dirty at the same time and not get caught. Like, you know, like that's, I wish we had a little bit of that.
That's
but
a
we
good
got that
football team.
We got a young football team.
Yeah.
And that matters at the end of the year. Talking about Detroit Lions, the team, they just picked up Zadarius Smith. Raven kicked out, turned Packers, kicked out, turned Vikings, kicked out, turned Cleveland Browns, kicked out. Now a Lion. Sounds like they got a real catch. I mean, this one's going to be different, I'm sure. This one's going to stick.
So Darius has finally found a place where you can fire off gunshots in city limits and still keep your job. It used to be the Browns. That's why he landed there. He was like, oh, you can always go to Cleveland. They don't care how many probation officer forms they have to fill out.
He's the perfect 8-week girlfriend, though. Like, to be
Yes.
there for this much time
Yes.
left in the season. Those fools are going to be suckered by him. They're going to
And
think
they're hanging there. They're hanging there because when Hutchinson got hurt too, I thought, oh, this is part of the That's So Lions, and being like, this is right on schedule. MVP candidate defensive player goes down. That's So Lions, right on schedule. So, but Zadarius, like, is his replacement essentially. I don't know.
Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
We only have to face them 2 more times if we make the play when we make the playoffs.
the guy can have a lot of juice for a week or two in a row. So I'd be curious to see. I just hope that he uses it up before we play him in Detroit. But
Brought up the all-time sack numbers for the Green Bay Packers.
okay.
I got way into it and I love it. And there's a lot of cool things in here. Zadarius Smith is number 26 with 26 sacks, which is
Weird.
not bad considering he only played 33 games with the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah, he was pretty deadly. He had a good year and a half, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Who's the all-time leader in sacks? Is it Clay Matthews?
So there's an asterisk with sacks. Sacks was not a stat until 1982.
Oh,
And
sure,
so
but
all before is
like Willie
unofficial.
Davis may
But
be
yeah,
better,
that's
who
right.
knows,
So it's
yeah.
exactly, it's Willie Davis is number one, but if you're going like official stat count, it's Clay. We can name a bunch of these in the top 20, but I thought fascinatingly, number 4 on the Green Bay Packers all-time sack list was 74 and a half, Kabir Gabaja-Biamila.
Oh yeah, KGB.
The beer man.
Dude, that guy had bend. That was now that's a guy you don't see guys with bend like that anymore. That was good stuff.
Not at that height, not at that
No.
size. But I don't think of him as a legend. He's like an icon. He's like he's a notable player. But
He was on his way to legend.
And he played
be
9
honest,
seasons, and he played 9
Yeah.
seasons with the Packers. Like that's
He
a
did.
stint.
It's true. Probably 7 of them were valuable.
Too many. We should have
Yeah.
traded him to the Vikings in if we'd have been Gutekunst at the time, we'd have traded him to the Vikings in year 5.
What happened to that guy? You never hear an interview with that guy. Also, because like he looked like he just like gnawed on a piece of plastic all day long. Like he did not. I don't know. I always remember just him just like.
I hope it's
that's
Tropical
doing it.
Island. I hope Tropical Island is the beer man situation right now. And that's why we haven't heard from him, is because he hasn't worn shoes or a shirt since 2009.
That's
That's my hope.
We can all hope to get there someday. We'll see. We all one straw hat away.
But I went into this because I was looking at McKinney get a sack a couple weeks ago, and I was like, secondary, like where do they fall on this all time? Number 1, if you're just going secondary, Leroy Butler with 20 and a half sacks, which is 1.5 sacks more than AJ Hawk.
Hey, I'm curious, what's the most penalized Green Bay Packers team? Is it this team? Are we in it?
There were a couple seasons
There's
ago.
gotta be some. I remember some, like the Atari Big B season, where I remember us just going like sideways and backwards and not being able to do anything right.
That's the one.
I remember Ahmad Carroll. That was of the same era. God, that was a bumbling bunch of dipshits if I'd ever seen one. That team was atrocious.
If the secondary wasn't grabbing and pulling everybody, the offensive line was just, it was like whack-a-mole. One of them would just stand up randomly.
Yeah, and we had Barnett at that time, fucking pulling guns out all over the place.
I was looking for penalty
like,
numbers.
I like Nick Barnett. He had a place.
yeah.
He had the samurai move. That was pretty cool. Guys don't have moves anymore. People don't stick to a move. They just all get together and dance as a crew. But it's like I want guys to have patented moves. I like that. The Jack in the Box thing with Jared Allen and just all the moves. People used to have moves. The Gravedigger. Come on, Gravedigger.
The Gravedigger is the greatest move.
Why wouldn't you take
ever.
that back? Why wouldn't you just stick with that? Like he's not using it.
Yeah, if I was a big guy, I would steal it.
I'm thinking about you doing it today.
But you have to be almost 400 pounds for it to be truly great.
I got enough upper body to jiggle around to make it look pretty good. You just got to be able to shift your weight around a lot. Go afterwards, because you can shovels heavy.
Yeah, moves, signature moves.
Well, who does is Jair with the signature move.
Yep, he does.
He's sticking with that. But now everyone's like, yeah, we'll all do that. Everyone does the Jair move. It's like, no, dude. Then you make a bunch of plays and then you come up with a move. He had to dance steps. He had a whole routine.
I also think that there is one team in the NFL on the coordinated team thing that is far and above better than everybody else. They should maybe be the coordinated team thing, and everybody else, like you said, go back to individual or solo things.
Yeah.
But
Don't tell
or
Devontae
like the
Adams
team,
that. Devontae Adams will be like, you guys should be celebrating as a team. We should all get in a circle and jerk each other off in a rhythmic fashion, in a way that we stare in each other's eyes in support for our own teammates. I just got to this team 72 hours ago, and I can tell you, you guys are not jerking off in enough rhythmic fashion for Aaron or anyone to find success. I just got here, but I can tell you there's your first problem.
I do like when a couple of guys got a thing or a pair of guys got a thing. The Aaron Rodgers pistols thing was pretty cool for a while with Driver.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. I mean, he had the stupid like belt thing too. You did for a while.
Yeah,
that was
confusing.
He stuck with it.
Yeah.
I'm really surprised that him of all people would do anything related to wrestling. It just seems really beneath him. I'd be really surprised if Aaron Rodgers has ever watched a wrestling match, except for to be like Neanderthals. Fascinating. I just don't see him as he's more of a reader to me. Seems like he's reading, not watching WWF.
You think that was a move that Clay was workshopping in practice, and Aaron just like did it in a game, totally like undercut his new move?
That's my bike, bitch. It's one of those. His fucking ticket.
Yeah, Clay like did it in practice and like
you demoted him.
And Rogers was like, I can't let him have it. I got to take that from him. It's my move now. If you'd have cut right after Rogers scores that touchdown and does it for the first time over to Clay, Clay was throwing his helmet.
He was like, they got in the moon race to see who could get the most commercials on television. Those two forgot about actually playing football. They were so busy working for all the different auto insurance companies on local dealerships all at once.
You gotta get that auto money.
Yeah, man, you gotta get that local fame. You gotta cash in while you can.
Dude, the billboards on the way up to Green Bay where they make everybody wear the nerdy polo. It's like for Bergstrom or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Have you seen these?
Yeah, Clay, the Bergstrom ads are consistently the worst. They make Jordan Love do it. When he first started, that Bergstrom ad was so bad. I was gonna come on the pod and like rip it apart. But then I felt like it would be poor for him because he was just getting going.
Yeah.
Like he just looked in like he didn't know what to do with his hands when he was talking about Chevrolet cars. It's like, you don't drive a Chevrolet. This is stupid.
Probably is part of the job.
It is.
They're probably like, and by the way, the quarterback of the Green Bay Packers is signed up for this.
They sell Chevrolets here.
Yep.
They sell
it doesn't matter who you are.
The local economy would absolutely tank without a guy who throws a football telling guys to buy Chevrolets. And no one would know what to do.
They wouldn't buy them. They just wouldn't buy them.
The whole thing would shut down. It's a fragile ecosystem. Are the Vikings going to do anything this year to like justify being in the playoffs or staying in the playoffs? I'm just curious about the rest of the NFC. Because it's feeling like the Packers are coming into a position when we're going to probably be a wild card. Like, I don't mind us playing on the road. I think that's a better spot for us most of the time. The question is, who are you going to see 3 times this year? The Vikings or the Lions? Or both? Wouldn't that be a fucking bitch?
That would be some road.
Oh,
it's not going to be the Cowboys, I'll tell you that.
Wouldn't it be funny if you got all 3 of them? You get the wild card against the Bears. You get the next week against the Vikings. Then you get the NFC Championship against the Lions, and you go to the Super Bowl and you win.
That'd be the greatest.
Sweep the division. That's like a straight royal flush. That'd be fucking amazing. Yeah, we would have reclaimed the North big time. We'd be dancing on their scalps. Like, that would really be something. Making slippers out of their hearts. Keeps the toes warm. Those ventricles. Do you want to talk about anyone else in the league here? Seems like the Cowboys are completely imploding.
Yeah.
I hate to bully someone who has nothing to do with us, but I just gotta say that's the dumbest goddamn bunch of idiots I've ever seen. You got an old billionaire alcoholic who hasn't known shit about shit for so long, and he's so busy distracting his own team from playing football. He's the last to notice that they're completely terrible and irrelevant, and the game has passed everybody.
They're 0-3 at home.
He is nothing. He's like the
0-3 at
owner of a
home.
junkyard. He has like a junkyard with a bunch of rare parts
Mhm.
that certain people will be
Yes.
looking for.
Yes.
But there's nothing there that's anywhere near cohesive. And the guy you got to run it is real on meth, and he is not making sense anymore. He used to make sense to you. Now you're just waiting to get that lease up so you can switch the locks while he's out getting some more, meth. And that's when
He basically sums up the Cowboys in a nutshell. Yeah, no, I think that their implosion is great to see at any time they fail. It's almost my second favorite thing. Like Packers win and then Cowboys loss. And then the rest of it.
I don't know if I care that much about them not succeeding. I just
I can't root for them. Here's why I say this, Tyson.
I don't root for them. I just don't have time to root
if I'm watching a game late in the season and I need the Bears to win, I can root for the Bears to beat the Seahawks. I can make that happen if it's good for the Packers.
Sure. Yeah.
If it's the Cowboys and the Seahawks, I still want the Cowboys to lose, and we'll find another way.
So
I just can't bring myself, and that's why I say that's almost more important than a division opponent losing to me is the Cowboys. It's because it's a visceral thing. I can't explain why. It doesn't make sense.
I'm enjoying this Jets car crash maybe more than I should. It's Wednesday, America. Okay. We're here recording this on a Wednesday night, and it's been a tough week for the Packers. We'll just say, but I find myself really enjoying watching the Jets sputter and fall apart. And it's just great. It's like watching a guy who's never had a management position, that's always been a star employee, who thinks he's got all the right answers, like actually been given the keys to a company, and he goes in, he cleans house, and he changes everything, and nobody likes him, and all of a sudden nothing works. And he's like, what? But I had all the answers, and I was supposed to come and shaking things up. It's like, that's not how change happens. And so now he's sitting here with like a team of like probably 30% of the company that's still in his camp, and everybody else is just like, I'm not protecting this piece of shit. This is what happens. This is leadership, baby. This is what being a grown-up is. You can't just be fucking star college kid on campus from a small town. It's come here to shake up the world. Once you're not a good manager, just because you're good at your job doesn't make you a good leader. And I cannot reiterate that enough. Just because you're good at your job doesn't mean you're a good leader and ready to teach other people how to be good at their job. They're not the same. And there's this inherent stupid American concept that if you're good, you're obviously a management material. Like, you're obviously supposed to be there. And that is not the case. That is an entirely different skill set than the actual position. Once you are actually managing people, you're no longer doing the job. You're managing other people doing the job. You have to do a lot of different stuff to make that work. So I just think that nobody explained how the world works to Aaron Rodgers. And it seems like it's kind of it's coming down on him. I don't know. I'm curious how he could possibly still be in denial, because it feels like the world is just turned on. No one's in it. Who's in his camp now? Devontae Adams?
Nope.
And nobody?
Yeah, and nobody. Everybody. That's the thing. It's like that terrible manager doesn't retain 30 of the people in his camp. He's lucky to keep one or two. That's what happens when you're toxic. When you're toxic and bad and you ruined everything, you get one friend. And that friend is still saying some shit when you're not around.
Oh yeah.
Like Devontae's different when Aaron's not in the room.
Yeah. No, he does the translate. I'm going to explain to you what Aaron's looking for, because if you don't, this guy's a real fucking bitch. Okay, let me tell you, he's going to cause a lot of problems. It's easier if you just warm up his milk to 138 degrees the way he likes, and just act like it was supposed to be there and someone else did it, because you don't want to hear him have a hissy fit. It'll ruin your whole morning. Look, he looks old.
So old.
Dude, He looks like he's all hunched over. I don't know if he's got bigger shoulder pads or just posture.
I think he just hurts.
He just looks like he's all hunched over. He looks like me out there. Like if I was a football player,
Yeah.
like get that old man off the field. Someone's gonna kill him. You know,
Yeah, for his own safety.
no wonder he's grumpy. He just hurt his knee walking backwards. You know,
And when he was a young man, he had fragile collarbones. There's that amount of calcium supplements you can take to rectify 3 spiral fractures.
he's not making it out of the season. He's,
No, he's
gonna
not.
get hurt bad. This is the last year of Farvey all over again. I've seen this before. He's got the old man like winces a little bit before he goes and like, man, I can still make a play. You know, he's still
Not on his toes in the pocket. He more like kind of stomps around back there.
It looks like it's really tough for him to throw a fucking 2-yard out. Like it's hard. It is tough to complete that screen pass. And I'm like, why you look like you're working so hard? You don't need to throw it that hard. It's a very short pass, Aaron. You don't need to wait that long and then gun it at this fucking fullback.
On
He's
a
not gonna catch
submarine
that.
throw.
Yeah, like why are you doing this? You're making that so complicated.
And then he drops it, and from an angle, the running back from an angle he's never seen before. And
Right.
Aaron's
It's
upset
coming
with
like
him
up
for 8
and to the
weeks.
left, and you're like, why
Yeah.
didn't you catch that? Because it was a rocket. It didn't.
And
make
I'm
any
not
sense.
7'4".
My brain doesn't understand what was happening. It didn't make-
Yeah.
the angles
He's
don't make
making
sense.
uncharacteristic Aaron Rodgers interceptions. The Aaron Rodgers interceptions where he thought he had double coverage beat with a back shoulder. That's
he's there.
that's
He's
a
too late.
rarity. But now he's just throwing like overthrowing the guy by 20 yards, and it's just landing in the arms of a free safety. Like really bad quarterback interceptions.
He's looking slow.
Yeah,
Just slow. He's looking like a guy who's lost not just a step, like 2.5 steps, and he just doesn't understand why he's just not in rhythm with the current tempo of the NFL.
You want to know a team I'm high on? It's the Steelers.
Well, yeah, they just
Not only did they just acquire Preston Smith, who
R.I.P.
Yeah, 11
R.I.P.
on the all-time Packer sack list.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. I mean,
What a
he gave us
fat
some
ass.
seasons. Yeah, what a fat ass who just waited for quarterbacks to run near him.
That man
didn't get
gave
tackled.
me hope though, because that man had love handles the whole time, and
Yeah.
sometimes they were really like we are
Yeah.
dealing with a muffin top situation, and that guy was still, but he was like AJ Hawk if AJ Hawk didn't walk backwards one day in his life, you know, like he just let the play come to him, they just fall right on it, and they'd be like, no, you know, he just didn't go backwards.
It
And
did.
that was enough to get him how many points on how high on the sack list? Pretty high, right? Just walk one step in front of the line and stand there and don't move until a guy comes by you and then tackle him.
Yeah, he's like a Mario trap. You gotta get by him, but you can't get too close or you'll get sucked
It's
in.
like that one with the little chain that the guy comes out and like
Yeah.
you get too close, and gets
You
you.
get sucked in. I mean,
Yeah, you can't get too
good
close
point,
to that
right?
guy.
If you get right.
Yeah.
44 sacks over 6 seasons.
That's pretty great. I'll be
Yeah,
honest.
almost.
I would have never, if you showed me that guy and I watched tape on him and you told me he got 40 sacks, I'd be like, what? How? I don't know. I look at him. None of them are that. He was awesome, but he just like, he's like the poster child for hold your gap. Like that guy holds an edge better than anyone in the NFL. And what a wasted skill in the 4-3. That is not any good to us anymore. He needs to be in the 3-4 defense. So it makes sense. So
Of his 162 tackles, 42 of them were for a loss. One in 4
2
of his
steps.
tackles.
But all it
And
takes
that's
is
the
2
same
steps
thing.
in
It's
front of
the
the line.
running back trying to get around the left tackle and him just going, nope, got too close. I fall on you now. Loss of 2. But there are other reasons the Steelers, they're kind of very Packer-esque right now on underrated, still putting it together all the way, but with on a real upward trajectory, but nowhere near peak. Like
I feel like
the Vikings don't scare me. I feel like they peaked in week 4. Like I feel like they're going to run out of steam. I feel like the Steelers are just starting to put wood in the cauldron.
I agree. I think they're on a
thing.
3-year plan. I see what they're doing. They got 2 discount quarterbacks, one of which is going to be their starter, and they got him on the bench, and the other one they're going to beef up and then flip that bitch to some other idiots that want Russell Wilson. I don't know who they are. I can't tell you the team that Russell Wilson makes sense to have, but they'll be there by spring. I guarantee they'll be there. They'll be there after the snow is melted. Someone will be like, Russell Wilson is our answer.
And he'll be in Nashville. He'll be in Nashville dusting off his Titan tee.
Yeah, or maybe Carolina. I don't know. It's hard to say. But they needed his leadership. They needed his robotic style.
No, and it's good. And I think
he seems like he needs to be on a bird team. He always reminds me like he needs to be a bird quarterback. That's why he's the power of the birds. So I would think he would, what's left? So there's like Falcons. He's obviously not going back to Seahawks. So it'd be like the Falcons, the Cardinals. He looks like a Cardinals quarterback to me. The Falcons, the Cardinals, or the Eagles. And the Eagles aren't going to stand for him. So
Patriots?
I think
with the Patriots,
it's got to be a bird. It's got to be a bird.
Oh, okay.
I'm thinking bird teams. Is there a bird I'm forgetting about?
There are probably there are a surprising amount of birds.
There's 4 birds.
Eagles, Cardinals,
Eagles, Cardinals, Falcons, and Seahawks. Ravens, yeah, he could be a Ravens quarterback for sure. That's a bird.
But they got one. They got a quarterback. He's okay.
Yeah, I know, but he's so easy to get hurt. Like that guy could get real hurt, and they could be like, "Oh, we just need one Russell Wilson, and we'll be there." You know,
for the last 3 games.
I'm calling it. I'm calling it right now. Russell Wilson's going to be a Raven after an unexpected injury to their quarterback early in the season. They're going to trade for him. That's where he's going to go next.
I think he retires.
That would be fine too.
I think this is his last season.
I think he's going to be the most annoying color commentator we've ever heard in our life, and we're going to hate him. Away. Oh, and he's going to be the worst. He's going to be perfect.
He can also do all sports like Jim Nance. So it's like tennis, everything. It just would be the Olympics. And we're like, why the fuck did Russell Wilson get to the Olympics?
Oh, I think he's going to come in and not even want to be the color commentator. He's like, no, I'll be the main guy.
Yeah,
I'll just do all the ads. I'll just read all the stuff. I'll make sure we're pushing the that shitty show on this network that's in this.
I carried the Seahawks all the way to the Super Bowl. I could do 3 hours on CBS with Tony Romo.
I mean, I don't think
I
want
CBS.
To,
I think CBS would be all over a Russell Wilson.
I agree. He feels like CBS material 100%.
He's not jazzy 100%. Enough for ESPN.
No,
and he's not
perfect for CBS.
Yeah, CBS is.
And those old fuckers are gonna die at some point, man. They could have a bumpy plane ride, and their entire staff could be out with heart condition. Like they have way too many old guys on that network. Yeah, they got a lot. They got too many. Too many. I know it's an old network, but still, like that's you're rolling the dice.
It does feel like one of those network. It does. It's like it's so insular. But you look at some of the sums of money that like Drew Carey is pulling out of that network.
I don't get it.
They're giving him $380 million for 32 episodes a year for the next 10 years
to go away. To never be seen from ever again. Do not try to have a career anymore.
Yep,
you're just
over.
You're just ours
over.
from 9:30 to 11, Monday through Friday, and after that, I don't want to see or hear from you ever again. Yep. No interviews, nothing. It's like a cult.
Yeah, we'll give you enough money to buy the Chargers. Yeah. Like I don't know where all the money comes from, but.
The world was a better place. The world was a better place when you could count on Bob Barker to go with your coffee and eggs. I am a Bob Barker man through and through. They don't make them like that, Ty. They really don't. Like that man and his skinny long microphone.
He was the best part of having the flu. And getting to stay home from school and eat a packet of saltines and drink a 2-liter of ginger ale and watch The Price is Right. And then it was time for a nap. But man, that's how I did a sick day. Like I was just like, it's got to
7-Up in my house, but same process.
Yeah, it's got to be.
Got to be a clear soda. I mean, it's healthy.
Right. Your mom got you that to get the sugar to stick.
You gotta get it out. You gotta pee it out. It'll be
sugar, fine. The virus sticks to the sugar, and then the sugar leaves the body. Yeah, I don't know what moms are all about on that, but they're onto something.
They did something right.
Some magic. mom trick of like, no, you just need sips of sugar water.
So I also want to say there's going to be some idiots out there, because there always is, that are going to be like, oh, I can't believe Gutekunst, he's selling on the season. There are buyers and there are sellers in this point in the trade thing. And if you're a seller, you're giving up on the season. And like, that's not what happened. So we essentially got rid of him for a 7th round pick. I don't know if you've looked into this trade.
Yeah, I did.
So it seems like we got hosed, but we didn't. There is roughly $20 million that this guy is getting from us, no matter what. No matter what, he's getting that. That's dead cap money. That's money that is from the signing bonuses, whether we kept him, whether we let him go, no matter what, he's getting that. There's another $30 million that he would be getting plus over the next 2 years in salary. That's not our problem anymore. That becomes the Steelers' problem. So really, we are recouping the 7th round pick we gave up for Malik Willis. So it's like a free Malik Willis, and we're cutting pennies on the dollar on our debt that we owe on this player that's 33 and definitely not going to have his best years in the next. Dude, he's slowed down a lot this year. Like, he was not fast, but he slowed down a lot. So I just feel like
this last offseason, Gutekunst did all that restructuring with him. And like heavily backloaded it, like to bring in McKinney and do some other things and get Jacobs, and so like spend some money. And Preston it kind of looked like Preston was taking that. It was a really team friendly thing he did.
It wasn't. He was like, you owe me all this money. Okay, so how am I going to be guaranteed to get the most of it? I know you're going to trade me before this is done.
Yeah, exactly.
It was assumed he was going to get traded at the end of this season. But here's how I took this. Not that we're sellers. I think that Gutekunst is a buyer in his own product. He knows we're the youngest team in the NFL. What do you need when you look at this team? You'd say, well, we need a defensive end pass rusher. Well, we drafted one. He just needs opportunity to play to get better. Okay, well, we need a middle linebacker. Well, we drafted one. He just needs some opportunity to play to get better. Like, at a point here, you need to get these guys in here. And those 50 snaps that Preston took this year, that's 50 snaps less that LVN gets to have. And we need Lucas Van Ness to be a game wrecker. We don't need him to be just another rotational pass rusher who's, lost at times, which is where he's at right now. He needs to get out there. We need to pay our dues. It's the same thing we're doing right now with the whole Sean Ryan and Morgan rotation. Sean Ryan is playing great football. He's earned that spot. The problem is that if we just give him that role and we don't give Morgan any time on the field, we still got to give him those reps for him to be worth anything. Yeah. So we're trying to sneak in training while we're still with a guy that we did the same method over 3 years, who's used to splitting time, who's not going to take it personal.
Right. I love it. I love it. Then he's got the reps.
Well, then you can't tell me we weren't a better team without Rasul Douglas. And it's so funny. As soon as he left the team, even though he was a leader and a veteran player, all of a sudden our defense started playing great. We started playing with confidence. All these guys that you didn't know that could play got an opportunity to, and we just figured out who was who and what was what. So I like the idea of addition by subtraction, even if it does save us only a few mil over the next couple off seasons. Doubles down on how much you believe in your team when you let go a multi-year starter that's going to be a day one starter on another team because you believe in your depth that much. Because depth and talent is not a problem on this team.
Yeah,
we got it.
And it's, they said the same thing when they didn't re-sign Zadarius Smith. Like, why would you not da-da-da? And it was because he was like, I got other things going on. Like, and I want to use that money elsewhere.
Right.
Like, and so he'll move. And at the time, Zadarius was our best defender. Preston's nowhere near, you know what I mean? He's a reliable guy.
Yeah, reliable.
He can be counted on.
We paid him for that, and we got our money's worth. Like, we got all the money. We paid him good money for a long time, and then really great money for when he was helping us fuse. But at this point, there's nowhere for this relationship to go but down. And I'm really glad he gets to go to a place like the Steelers that can make the most of his skill set. He might even get another, couple years of legitimate play.
That was
This
probably
works out
the
for everybody.
best landing spot for him, is that just super defense-minded team that is actually going to use him. You know what I mean?
And if they're and they're going to be going through a transition here as they work this long con of pretending Russell Wilson's their starting quarterback just to flip him for something before the draft next year. It'll be really nice to have that consistent body that's going to hold that edge. It's going to make that 3-4 defense do what it's supposed to do. So Preston Smith, to you, my friend, thank you for your service. And we wish you the most luck, and go get you some Rogers blood. Go taste it. Taste the rainbow. Is there any other giant moves that you saw in free agency? I can't remember if there was any other things that were like a big deal.
Oh, in the trade deadline.
Yeah. Oh, we got one. Did you know about that guy we got that was from the Redskins? I'm sorry, not the Redskins, the Commanders. We got a guy that was a first-round pick. I remember his name. I don't remember it right now, but we'll look it up. I'll edit that right out. But still, it's we drafted a guy. He was a first-round pick, and he was cut. And we scooped him up, and he's on our practice squad. I think he's going to be on our regular roster too. So he's measurable wise a stud.
It is amazing how 4 years ago he was a first round pick. Now he's a journeyman trying to make a team. It's right. It doesn't always pan out.
Jermaine Davis is the guy we picked up from the Commanders. He played college football for the Kentucky Wildcats and was drafted by the Washington football team in the first round of the 2021 draft. Davis played at defensive end with Washington in 2024 before being released midway through the season. He's 6'3", 234 pounds. Pretty good measurables. He's had 282 tackles, 7 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, 2 fumble recoveries, 6 pass deflection, and 1 interception in his short career. So it's not like he's just warmed a bench. He was their first round pick in just the 2021 draft. So, I mean, this is a guy that
is this a McManus situation?
Maybe better.
No, I'm saying, is this like a controversy that like
I don't hear
even the Commanders?
I should look up controversy behind it, but no, it seems like something happened.
Because you don't just like up and release a first round pick, even if you're not really using them.
But not exactly, because let's say they made some trades at the deadline to try and get people. So if they needed to clear up cap space and a position area and a roster spot, it might just make sense just to let a guy go who's going to then give you more cap space because he's on his rookie deal and you can get all that back. It's all refundable. It's not a guaranteed contract. So like that, there's reasons why. And also if he played well enough that he will command a contract that's higher than you want to pay, but you don't think he's good enough that he's going to get picked up and start on another team, so you're not going to get a compensation pick for him. Like you might as well just let him walk and
be free of it.
Be the guy you grab the guy you want. And I don't know what the Commanders are doing or have done in the last 3 years, so I can't tell you anything about them or this player. But he wore 52. That's a good number. That's all.
He played defensive end. I'm trying to see if they have like studs there. But
I can see him being an unexpected hero at some point in the season. Also, we have some other guys that are doing good stuff on our team. So, I mean, there was some good things happening in that game on defense. We're going to break that down next week for the post-buy chat. But really, like, there was a lot to look at. There were some positives in that game. It wasn't all negative. And certainly if you look at the stats, it doesn't make sense that we lost the game because it looks like we killed them. It's a 10-point game and we had a pick 6 and a fucking field goal. That's 10 points. Like if you take those away, then those are very quick scores. If you take those 2 away, I think we probably could have won that game. Like we really could have. And we played awful. And they played mistake free. So that tells you there, like we got talent. We got so much talent on this team. We got crazy amounts of talent. We can do amazing things. We maybe have too much talent. We need to figure out how to get disciplined and coordinated and consistent, because it seems like we can do incredible things and we can also make bonehead fucking mistakes nearly every play.
10 penalties. 10 penalties.
That's a lot. It's 100
That's
yards right there.
The worst team in the league. The worst team in the league year over year averages 10 to 11 penalties per game. That's roughly where you find the bottom of the league. Is the worst teams, the most undisciplined teams, they're going to be committing 10 to 11 penalties a game.
I saw somewhere that we
Concerning.
are sixth highest penalized team in the NFL, which I think is the highest over the last 4 years. I haven't really looked past that, but I know that with Rodgers, we were far less penalized. And we got a lot of penalties our way because he was a sneaky little bitch who was always trying to get offsides and 12 men on the field. And
nobody could take
penalties.
a soccer style dive like Aaron
it's
Rodgers.
so infuriating. It's infuriating to play against
He'd just
him.
stick his heel in the ground and fall down like Mary Poppins.
And then put his hands up and be like, "Oh, you can't hit me. You can't touch me." And they're like, "You're right. You're right, sir." Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh, dude, I'm just so curious to see if this guy makes it out of the season alive.
No, he's not going to. He barely makes it out of any game that every time I watch, I'm like, oh, is this the moment where he dies?
Yeah, it's coming.
Every time he hits the turf, it's like when he gets back up, I'm like, that's the impressive thing. I'm like, well, he got back up. He didn't just lay there and be like, I'm done. Carry me away. I'm not worried about our division. I'm really not. The Lions it's different this year, but the Bears are better than they've been in a while, but they're still 4-4.
Yeah, they're going to be a bad team for a few years, and they're still figuring it out. So, like, I just think it's unfortunate.
We're certainly tastemakers. We're certainly tastemakers.
Yeah, flavor savers at least. Where they have
8 guys are guaranteed to show up in pickup trucks, and he's not. And then they all watch the video on the one guy's phone and get outraged.
I guess they don't have great internet.
Yeah, no, they really don't.
Only one guy has the good plan. The Chiefs, are they gonna fucking lose or what? I'm so tired of them. They can't be good all year, right? There's no team is good all year. Remember that, Lions. No team is good all year. You got to suck at some point. I mean, the Chiefs I don't see them. I've seen a lot of assholes win at things lately, but I'd like to believe that these sons of bitches can't do 3 in a row. Ty, do you think the Chiefs are going to be in the Super Bowl again?
I don't know why I ever doubt the Chiefs. Like, they've proven over and over. I didn't think they were gonna repeat. Like, I was like, yeah, whatever. And then surprised, there they were. Like,
boom.
I don't think they're overrated. I do think they're every bit as good as their record shows. It's a well-oiled machine. Everybody knows their role. They're not having to reinvent shit. They're just like, hey, you're the little fast guy now. Like, if you want to know how to do the job, there's a lot of tape from the other little fast guy. Like, and Andy Reid's a genius. He's maybe one of the greatest football coaches of all time. Not only is he there on the X's and O's, but he inspires people. He knows how to handle stars. I mean, everybody wants to succeed for him. He's a motivator. Like, the 3 keys to leadership: he motivates, makes them loyal, and then makes them better.
I hate how they don't crack under
No.
pressure. That's what drives me crazy. These guys have all the pressure of the world on top of them. They got little girls screaming for Taylor Swift that are part of their
distractions.
Hugest distraction ever. Yeah, and they're still just like, yeah, it's fine. We're in every commercial. It's fine, not a problem. I'm going to do a lot of stupid interviews constantly. Patrick Mahomes seems to be on like every show all the time, and I'm like, when do you practice? How are you? You know, and he can throw all these trick shots. I'm like, at some point, shouldn't he get hurt or something should happen? Slow this fucker down. Like, I'm tired of everything about him. It's just his voice, all of it. I just am, you know, I was inspired and impressed by him. That was like when he won his the last Super Bowl of the last three. I was like, yeah, no, there we go. But now I've seen enough.
No, I'm getting more impressed. See, I take the opposite tack. I hated Tom Brady for the first 4 or 5 Super
15
Bowls.
years.
For the first 15 years. But those last 3 Super Bowls, I was just like, this man's
was pretty
impressive.
Yeah, he was.
And I'm right
he
there
managed
with
the energy. Yeah.
I've already worked through my Mahomes, you have a frogman's voice, and why do you walk with your butt so tight? But I've moved past those things and into like just appreciating him as a unique player of his position, and he's a great leader.
So unlike Brady and Goff, he doesn't play inside out. This dude throws this bitch all over the field. Like he is not
running right, throwing left.
He is
He'll throw
not
across the field.
taking the easy route. No. He is doing all kinds of crazy stuff. That's what I find so impressive. But I hate the way he walks. I hate what he does with his hand. I hate the way his head is. Like he doesn't, you know, he's kind of sideways when he walks. There's just a lot about him that
I hate his really cool haircuts.
I've seen enough.
I hate his really cool haircuts.
I don't like his weird voice. I just don't like him. I just over him, you know. But yeah, he's good. But the way he plays in, like once the play is running, I feel the same way about John Elway. John Elway looked weird walking and every part of him.
Oh yeah.
Walking, and you're like, what a fucking weird ass. What a strange man. But then when we're actually running the play, like, dude, that guy's a badass. But then you watch him like pigeon-toed and doing all this weird stuff. You're like, what is this? What is this? But once the ball's in play, you're like, whoa, all right, this guy's badass. You watch him like weird run up to the next play, and you're like, this guy.
Mahomes is getting sacked and still pump faking the ball, like looking for a better option. I've never seen an open running back stand there so long. He's like, yeah, I see you, but I'm gonna go back through my first 3 reads again before I check down to you. Like, it's incredible what he has around him.
I think they're on coke. I think they're on coke. That's just my theory. I think they're all on coke. I think it's all gonna come crashing down, like fucking the Dallas Cowboys should have. It's all gonna fall apart.
For sure, they're on coke. I see Travis Kelce on Saturday Night Live in a fucking toothbrush costume. I'm like, God damn it! Don't you have a game in fucking Cincinnati in like 8 hours? What the fuck are you doing?
Ty, nobody does. That's you got to be mistaken because nobody does cocaine that has anything to do with the Saturday Night Live people. They've never done drugs there. That's not what they do. It's comedy, Ty. Don't you know?
They're serious. It's rules. They follow a lot of rule followers.
Oh, that's what they do in the bigs. They follow the rules.
Yeah. Once you've made it, everyone knows that's when you have to start following the rules.
Who knew Eli Manning was so funny? I got to say, that guy's a hoot. He has a great sense of humor. He understands how to make fun of himself and his brother, and he's good, dude. I'm impressed. I really like the just his every media thing he's making is like pretty great. So I'm impressed more than I thought I would be with Eli Manning. Peyton's fine too. He's doing a good job. Kind of what I expected. I want him to be John Madden. I don't know why he was being such a dick about just being a regular commentator. He was born to do. He'd be great at it. Tom Brady, it's awkward. He's like he's fine. What do you think about Tommy in the last game? What were your thoughts on Tommy as the color commentator? That was my first real game.
So I've cut a couple Tom Brady games. If his name weren't Tom Brady, he's a fine commentator. But he would not get the national game.
Hell no.
He would get the Bengals Browns game. He would get the Chargers Seahawks game.
Yeah, Jaguars.
Yeah,
against
he is
someone.
not A-list. He gets that spot, and he was just given to him, which I think is kind of a damn shame. But
It's pretty weird how sexy he thought LaFleur looked. He literally talked about his mustache.
Oh yeah, Chess said he thought it was weird how sexy he thought LaFleur looked.
yeah, that man crush was.
Whatever. He can say whatever he wants with that fucking stubble. You know what I mean? He can.
Real man crush on Matt LaFleur's various facial hair.
Got a lot of good.
We have our
going.
favorites. Yeah. Goatee, not so much.
Everybody's got their thing. Everyone's got their thing. You pro bye week, anti bye week in terms of watching football? Are you watching worry-free football and enjoying it, or are you just literally taking a break from football and just watching like recaps?
So outside of the Green Bay Packers, I always watch the Sunday night game.
Okay.
But wherever the Packers fall, I end up throwing that third game in there, right? So if the Packers are the noon game, then I gotta watch that middle or half watch that middle game. Yeah. And then I sit down and watch the national game. I just love, since Monday Night Football, I've loved the tradition of like knowing that there's like a thing that we're all watching together. And so I watched the Sunday night game. You know, I fall asleep third quarter vast majority of the time, but because that's what Chris Collinsworth does to me. But but I love watching it. So I end up, but on bye weeks, I'll still watch that night game, but like I'm not going to start watching football until 7 p.m., which is an entirely unique thing on a Sunday that I don't have like half the day to bot it out for. So I will intentionally probably do something other than football. You know, give my time to my wife or my family or something.
Yeah.
But I'm not anti-football, but I'm just not, it's just not a presence that weekend. Well, and it is kind of nice to take a break.
In years past, I used to love bye week football. I get loaded. I'd sit down. I'd watch it worry-free, just ripping every team apart, just laughing at every loser and just, you know, thinking I figured out the whole league in that week, you know, because I didn't have to worry about anything. I could just sit back and watch people succeed and fail. But as that time goes on, like I don't have time to watch anything but the Packers games and the research we need for our next opponent. If that, like, I don't have any more time. I just don't have time to sit and watch a full day of football. I wish I did. It was amazing, but that seems like a million miles away at this point. So I'm hoping with the holidays, they can get back to like a full slate day of football. Like that used to be the norm, and I haven't gotten one of those in a year and a half. It would be great to just sit on my ass, watch football from noon until 10:30 at night. That's really what it's all about.
Yeah, I hope that for you too. I hope that for everybody, because that is kind of a glorious thing. It doesn't mean, you know, you can't bounce into the kitchen and help with dinner, and you know, I do various other things.
Oh yeah,
you know, you can get stuff accomplished. It doesn't have to be a total nothing day. But like, but yeah, when football is just on, playing it what feels like the whole day. Oh, I love it.
To be honest, that's all I want for Christmas is just like an all day
10 hours
and just free nap, just nap free, just whatever you want to fucking sleep, just sleep. No one's gonna bother you. You wake up and nothing mattered. You weren't late.
Yeah.
Nobody's pooped on anything. Everything's fine.
And you just missed the middle 2 quarters of the middle game. You know. So.
Oh my god! Oh, I came back. Yeah.
Oh, look, it's the fourth quarter.
It's perfect. Let me catch up here. I'm ready to eat again. You know, like that's been a while since I've been there. That is like my wild fantasy I get now in my life. So that's
there is hope.
Not for the weak. It's not for wimps, folks. Don't sign up for aging if you aren't up for it. Because
other dads I know schedule that. Like this guy's weekend is really just a bunch of dads who are like, I just want to sit in sweatpants and watch football for an entire weekend and not have any other obligation. And so it's basically they like so that it like you hoped and wished that day would come and just kept hoping and wishing. But then they were like, what, we just schedule it. There's a tip
Yeah.
for you. Maybe you need an annual
Playoffs.
tradition.
Playoffs, because then you get 4 solid games over 2 days,
Mm-hmm.
and they end at a reasonable time.
Yep.
You get back to reality.
Yeah.
Saturday, Sunday. Yeah, maybe I'll try and see if I can't block that off. That would be great.
You gotta
Hopefully
get
hopefully the Packers are playing. But wild card, weekend, really just soak it in. Hedge my bets. I figure if we're playing then, right?
Yeah. Circle
But
it.
I'd rather us be a wild card team. I'll be honest. I'm fine with the path we're taking. I don't think that we're missing out on anything. I think the Packers are yet to play their best football. And if we find it and we can recall it, it gets easier and easier and easier. If you got a young team, you got to give them reps. And I think that's what this trade deadline action was all about. I think that's kind of a strategy of Gutekunst where he'll buy these stopgaps, these, Keyshawn Nixons and other guys and elevate some Rashid, and elevate them from nobody to somebody. And they'll hold a gap until you draft the actual guy you want. And as soon as they're at a point where all they need is reps to be that all pro that you were hoping they could be, that guy that was holding the gap, now he's in the way. You got to get him out. And so I feel like this is a pattern he does where he picks up these guys. So that linebacker that we have on our team right now that we just got from the Commanders, watch that name, because in 3 years, he might be that stopgap outside defensive end that's holding the spot for that guy we drafted who's going to be the real deal. And then we'll let him go. I like this is how we use undrafted free agents and still let them leave with some value. And
I feel like Gutekunst is the kind of guy who he doesn't leave the casino with less money.
Yeah.
Like he really is good at knowing when he's ahead and when he needs to quit. And he's got a great sense for it. There's still life left in these players. Like it's not like a use them up and dump them situation, where after you're a Cowboy, that's it. Yeah, that was your career. There's actually there's some value to Aaron Jones's brand. Let him get that. Yeah. So there's still some value there. There's still some value to Zadarius Smith, even though he moved on for him. It's just he's just not. So it's just like you're saying, make him a little better and move on.
Yeah.
And let some other team pay him and let another team pay him.
Right. Let another team have to make that decision on what.
Meanwhile, Van Ness does look like all he's been doing all offseason is eating steak and lifting weights.
I know. If he
looks 100 pounds heavier in muscle than he did last year.
He needs to do some Sudoku puzzles or something to get his brain muscle working.
What was that Simon Says thing? We just got to send him a Simon Says.
A little light in the things. He's got to remember the pattern.
Blue oval, red square.
Dude, he hasn't lost in 17 minutes. We got to keep him going.
He's definitely going to be wide open on the outside.
Killing everybody.
We shut down every screen for the rest of the season because we sent him a Simon Says.
That's right. Yeah, I think we got to figure out a way to get these young guys out there, and then also how do we get rid of unload something we tried to do it again with Stokes, get him out there, maybe playing a little ball. I'm sure we would have traded him at the deadline, but nobody wants that piece of shit. So at this point, he's that guy. That guy does not want to tackle. That guy, I hate it. He sticks out like he just totally doesn't look like he belongs. He doesn't. One of these things is not like the other. One of these things doesn't want to tackle, and that is Stokes. He's just not tough, and it looks like he's playing to not get hurt, and that's a great way to get cut. So I can't wait. I hope they get more Valentine on the field because at least he had anger and pizzazz. Yeah. You can't. I don't know karate, but I know crazy. I'll go for that. I'll take that. Yes, you did.
I think it's also that's awesome.
Yeah.
I think it's great where we're at in the point in the season where the playoff teams really are starting to take shape. You know, we've got a sense of who is a playoff team and who is not. And now we just start grading the caliber of these so-called playoff teams. I mean, we don't know what the Eagles are because the Eagles don't know what the Eagles are. The Commanders, are they for real? And then everybody else has a 500 record or just better. The Falcons, the Cardinals, and that's it. Like, so that's if this is the playoff picture that's shaping up, is that the Rams and the 49ers are going to fight over the last spot. We are going to be, okay, maybe we're not the number 1 overall seed, but I think we're a higher seed. And I
don't want to be the home team.
I do.
I don't
You
want the
do,
home field
Tyson.
advantage.
Matt LaFleur is incredible at home.
Not in the playoffs.
Not
in the playoffs.
No.
At home in regular season, he's the man. Not in the playoffs. He is not a winner at home. He's lost more than he's won. So, like, I would rather us come in as the wild card, come in as the hot team, as a team everyone is worried about them coming to your house and fucking you up, and then us coming there and doing it, and us getting one home game in like the NFC Championship to go to the Super Bowl. That's the best case scenario, and the even bestest case scenario would be having that NFC Championship game be against a in-division foe. The problem is that is not likely, because everyone in our division that will be playing against us will have a better record than us, but the Bears, which means that it would be us.
I don't know. I think the Vikings could fizzle.
The Vikings could fail? Yeah.
Yep. I think they came out real
Darnold's
hot.
starting to look like Darnold.
Yep.
He's got that look. He's got that little jitter, kind of a bounce. Like, yeah, he's gonna start fucking up.
They're gonna start subbing out. They're gonna have to rotate in an offensive lineman when a lineman gets hurt. Which is gonna throw off the whole run game, and then that throws off. I just think the Vikings, they were too good too early. You can't. It's just they spent all that gas getting into 6th gear, and it's like, well, yeah, you jumped out, but it's a long season, and so I think we've still finished better than the Vikings.
We'll see,
because
maybe
it's good, because what the rest of the NFC North is basically duking it out with the NFC North. There are very few non-division. There are 4 division games left and 4 non-division games left for all of us. Like, basically everybody in the division has played 2 teams, and 2 teams once. And so it's going to be a slugfest. And I think that if the Lions are also beating up on the Vikings and the Bears, that's our opportunity to also beat up on the Vikings and the Bears.
Yeah.
I think we beat them.
I think that the Falcons are going to be in the conversation at the end of the year. It just feels like they have some special athletes, and Kirk D. Cousins is a 1 playoff win quarterback, and I could see him coming in and getting that done for him. Yeah, it feels like the Falcons are going to be a wild card team. I feel like the Eagles are probably going to take that division, but I don't know. What do you think? They'd probably be in 2nd place behind the Lions at the end of the year. So those 2 are probably going to get the bye, roughly, and then you got, Rams, 49ers, us, Vikings,
Buccaneers. Don't count Baker out.
Yeah. Oh, definitely not. Bucks are going to be in it as long as they stay healthy.
I think they could give the Rams and 49ers the kind of that middling. I don't see the Seahawks being.
They got wild card. They got wild
but
card playoff team written all over them.
Buccaneers look like Buccaneers look like if they need to win the last 6, that they will.
Yeah.
So I'm
looking at that. I'm not seeing a murderer's row. You're right. The NFC is kind of wide open, man. It's up for the draft.
There's the top echelon. There's the top echelon, the top 3-4 team, or the top 4 teams, and then it's a bunch of middling, and then it's a bunch of junk. Like, we're definitely not the stronger division this year.
We got to do 2 things, and that's it. And other teams can't do what we can do. But there's 2 things we need to do. We need to learn to play with discipline and not make penalties and beat ourselves that way. and we just need to like have this team show up in the playoffs with these players. We have more stamina than every other team. We are the youngest team in the NFL. And in that regards, compared to the next youngest team and how good they are, we're light years better. So like if we can just clean up the penalties to the point that we are making like 3 a game, like, wow, we are in a really good spot. We could actually turn this thing into something.
In that last game against Detroit, if they had cut the penalties in half and
God,
just had 5, that's so many more third down, get off the field, third down conversion on offense that counts. That's a huge that's a turnover bait. Penalties are almost the NFL is so flawless and there's so little room for error that a penalty drive killing holding on first down, it's almost a turnover at this point.
It's true. And then the other thing is that when it's under 2 minutes left in the half, you're down by, I don't care how much. It just comes from playing Madden. I always would say, let's go get some points. Let's go grab some points right now. Let's go get some points. Let's get this ball down the field. We're going to take a shot play first down, shot play second down. All right, fine. We'll run the ball and guys to try and make them waste the timeout so we can punt it. Like that's a bad strategy. That's exactly what Matt LaFleur is approaching the 2-minute drill at the first half the same way I would in Madden. And that is not putting Jordan Love in a position to not completely fuck it up. Like you're tapping into his fight or flight for no reason right before the half. And he's fucked up really bad in that position twice now. So at this point, I want him to just get in the fetal position in between the sticks and let that clock run. Like maybe I'm just getting old, but I'm like, can we just get to halftime, please?
I want
without blowing it.
See Malik Willis get 11 snaps a game, whether Love is hurt or not. I want to see Love subbed out after a long run like a running back. And just have Malik go in for 2 plays. I want to see Malik come in as wide receiver just to make everybody panic. Like, I think that they could use Malik in 2 minutes. Malik is an amazing 2-minute threat because he will run and he will get out of bounds. He is smart. He has proven that he has the confidence to do 2-minute drills. I think you almost consider at the end of the second quarter, the end of the first half, just being like, hey, Jordan, for the, however LaFleur's got to put it, but that is a situation where Malik could get 5 snaps and it could benefit the team greatly.
Oh, big time. I wish we were at a point where we could be looking at him that way. I feel like the combination, sounds weird, but the history of Brett Favre and the Colts of this year, you take those teams and add them together, it equals our situation we're in right now. I'll reiterate. Brett Favre didn't miss any games forever, and it made him an Iron Man superhero. It's what it feels like once you drink the goat blood that you are now the quarterback of the Green Bay Packers. You understand, man, if you can go, you say I'm 100% coach, get me in there. Mm-hmm. And you not let that job go because someone else could grab a hold of that magic and they could run with it and they could be the new magic quarterback of the Green Bay Packers. So I think that is an element that runs through Jordan's head. I don't think he's an old, wise, not threatened quarterback yet, even with the contract, even with the money. I think that there's an element of who Malik Willis is, how he plays, his skill sets that makes Jordan Love feel like he better go start today. I don't want to let this guy get in here, have too much success. I'm glad he's here. I'm glad he's a good quarterback. I like him. He's a really nice guy. I want him to be successful when he plays. But I'm ready to go today, coach. So I don't think that really matters, right? I think that's it. The other part is, why do you feel like that matters? Why can't we sub him out? Because of Anthony Richardson and his fucking head tap. Did you read about this? The quarterback for the Colts. He last week or week before in the game, he's a big running quarterback. He ran a big running play, broke some tackles, did all that. He tapped his helmet. Had Joe Flacco come in. And they're like, oh, he must have been hurt. And they asked him in the press conference afterwards, like, yeah, you went out, thought what was going on? He's like, I'll be honest, man, I was just tired. I just needed a breather.
Yeah.
And like, you can't do that at quarterback. That's not allowed. And all the quarterbacks, all the pro quarterbacks that have played through like just all the stuff just showed up like just eye tweak and be like, you have any idea the responsibility you have as a quarterback in the NFL? You play through all the pain, like they're just like offended to their core that this piece of shit took one playoff and it changed the whole conversation to any quarterback worth anything would never ask for a playoff. And so I feel like that happened the week before this game. So Jordan's like, I gotta fucking play. And I think that was his focus. I have to fucking play. And that was the obsession. I don't know that he forgot that like you got to beat the Lions in the rain is the focus, not I have to play. And I feel like we got half of I got to face the Lions and then, oh yeah, we're in the rain. And if you got an injured quarterback in the rain who's able to make incredible throws when he's getting when he's like well protected, he had some really great throws. He did some great stuff. So like, I'm not with some people that say he's never going to win us a Super Bowl. I think he is our best chance to win a Super Bowl still. But I think that everyone needs to remember who he is, what makes him special, and save him from himself, not give him those plays that are going to put him in a position to make another huge mistake.
Word.
Yeah.
We never did get into the Salah thing, but now I'm kind of just like, yeah, he's here to interim coach.
I feel like, again, he has
and
a
I
lot
think
to
you
gain.
and I have talked about it. So
we have just real quick for the recording.
Okay. And then
hey Jazz,
drag you out of there.
So Coach Salah.
What time is it? Oh my God, it's 10:15.
I know we're shutting it down here, but Coach Salah joining the Green Bay Packers, I think he has a lot to gain by being a part of this crew. I think we have a lot to gain by having him. I think it's a fascinating situation where we both have the same ex-wife who's insane, who is like somehow paying both their salaries. Like, it's just a bizarre scenario. And I'm glad that he's on our team because he can learn offensive things from Matt LaFleur. We can get defensive tips from him. And already in one week of him pretending to be just being like a consultant, he's like, yeah, okay, you need to hire me on because I can fix a lot of these problems. They're like, okay, great, you're on. So I'm curious to see what the difference in title means for his impact on the coaching staff. Plus, we get a full bye week. Guys, this is big. This bye week is well timed. This is a good thing. You don't want to win going into a bye week. You want to lose going into a bye week. So you can sit on that loss and just beat the shit out of yourself. And the coaches go against the other coaches and figure out how you could beat them. And then you come back. Like, McCarthy team was never the same before the bye week. We were like 3 times as good after the bye week. And it's because and I felt like it's got to be on purpose. He's got to be playing things that don't work to get us used to it so that after the bye we can give them all the real plays. That's what I've been saying for years. But I really do think that it comes down to how good your coaching staff is. If you can get innovative with a week of no football and get this team in the best position to be a threat. I think Coach Salah gets us there. I'll be honest. I love having him on the staff, and I'm very curious to see what comes of this.
This is one of those weird, like, worlds overlapping, worlds connect. And it feels like one of those, like, small little details that, like you mentioned 20 years later, like, oh yeah, and by the way, Salah was on that Super Bowl team. Like, Salah got a Super Bowl ring from that. Like, and it's one of these weird, the overlap, the connection between Salah and LaFleur. It does feel a lot like the whole Aaron Rodgers thing. Like, he called his friend and was just like, I just got away from that guy. I need to, like, detox. in Wisconsin. And LaFleur's like, yeah, friend, come sleep on my couch. Like, I got you. bro."
Honey, I know all about it. Come
Yep.
over. We can talk.
He is the worst. Exactly.
Oh yeah.
Like when he made the stadium
Did
in
you do that
Stala.
thing where he went to your boss and tried to get you fired because
Yeah.
you told him he had to do his job? Oh, I hate it when he did that. Come over. We can talk all about it.
Yeah.
We'll do each other's eyebrows. It'll be great. I'll shave your head. You can wax my brows. It'll be like old times.
We'll go pee on his car charger that he made Lambo install so that he could drive his Tesla into the garage.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll go tag it. And they go do like best friend stuff. That's what I'm picturing is LaFleur and Saleh going around Green Bay doing best friend stuff to get over the Aaron Rodgers trauma that Saleh is just now dealing with, and LaFleur seems to have thoroughly processed.
Like I could just see, Saleh working late, and LaFleur's walking out, and he's like, "Oh, hey, coach, what you doing?" He's like, "Oh, just reading some film." He's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Going to Farm Fleet," and he's like, "Oh yeah, Farm
Exactly.
Fleet? What you getting?" He's like, "Oh, I'm just gonna do this and this." He's like, "Yeah, I need some Farm Fleet. Might have to tag along." He's like, "Of course not. Come on in the
Yeah,
truck. We'll ride
exactly.
together." You know.
Well, I'm getting a
up for
car.
a trip. What are you doing?
Yeah.
My
got
family's
nothing
in New
going
York.
on.
I'm free. I'm open. Matt's wife hates this arrangement. I haven't seen Matt in weeks.
Yeah.
He says he's working late, but I think he's just hanging out with his buddies. Ever
Yeah.
since he has that new friend, I don't like this side of Matt. Someone else is doing his eyebrows. I know it. I can tell. Judith wouldn't do that. That's not her line.
Yeah. I found a cotton candy wrapper in the back seat. I know these guys have been to the fair this week.
Yeah. Well, I mean, times are good, so you got to roll with it.
You have a guy
I'm
like
excited.
that. Yeah, it's good to have that guy around.
Best buds forever.
Yeah.
We've been talking about Packers for some time now, and I hope you enjoyed the conversation. Next week, we will be back with more Two Dads and a Chaz proper. Full pod squad. 4 guys, possibly a guest. I have no idea. But we are going to break down the Lions game in more detail and also break down the Bears upcoming bout. Until then, enjoy your off week. I'm sorry. Until then, enjoy your bye week. Enjoy your friends. Enjoy your family. And remember what's important. And of course, I'll always go Pack Go, right, Ty?
Go Pack Go.
All right. Reclaim the North, all this shit on 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Yahoo, go Pack. Have a good night.
Yeah, man. You too. Great conversation. Thank you.
No problem. Call is being recorded. Stop recording. Stop recording now.